Hi. Hey guys, it's Thursday. I'm doing two blogs today, one a regular blog and then another one, hoping to get some updates and stories from folks who have been doing the 30-day Stop Fixing Yourself challenge. Um, but this first blog is going to be about not um, what it well essentially what it means for privilege and alignment. And I don't mean alignment like on your car. I mean aligning yourself with people in life, picking and choosing people that you want to associate yourself with, that want to associate themselves with you. And I'm going to talk about a little bit first, talking about an article that I read, and of course, I'm going to tell you a Black women centric blog. There are lots of them, you know, and my thought is many of them aren't as Black women centric as they spout they are, and stuff. Some of the stuff I see, is not of any help to Black women. Some of it is terrible, terrible advice or information to give to Black women and stuff, and some of it's just downing. Now you won't be getting a link to it in this thing because I'm not linking to it. You'll have to figure it out. I'm not even saying what the blog is and stuff. Just know that it exists. Some of you may have already seen it when you hear me talking about it and stuff, but I'm not linking to it. I'm not, no longer passing on bad news, no longer passing on crazy news either, regarding Black women. But I want to tell Black women, and give you some advice, maybe on what you need to do, how you need to think about these things, for a better life. How you make a better life for yourself, and stuff, and for your family, if you that's what you have, but really for you, and stuff. How do you make a better life? How do you make better decisions and things like that? Because better decisions lead to a better life. It's just there's just no way for that not to happen. One has to follow the other. Better decisions lead to a better life and stuff. So I'm reading the article, and it was a woman, um, who described herself as, and I'm telling you, this is a Black woman centric blog. She described herself as racially ambiguous, or she could go racially ambiguous. So that means she was probably Black and some other, combination of another race, but she didn't really say. And she talked a lot about how she used her racial ambiguity to her advantage. Okay, just how she was sometimes Black, sometimes she was Italian or Hispanic, and sometimes she would be white, and just with a darker tan, and so she just was talking about it. And then she starts talking about how, she just finds it, how she just is just so hurt because it's so difficult dating Black men, and how she feels so bad for Black men, for all they go through, and it's really difficult for her, and it's a burden for her. But she dated white men, but she felt othered and fetishized, by white men. So she went back to dating Black men, and when they go to places, people are treat them differently and stuff. But she's in there with the struggle and all this stuff, and how difficult it is for Black women who are dating Black men. Gag me with a spoon. Gross. Just I could. Gross. Okay. It was so sort of patronizing and ridiculous because in one sentence she's telling you how she has this privilege of being racially ambiguous, and she takes full advantage of this privilege. Okay, she takes full advantage of the privilege of having this, and stuff. And I maybe wouldn't have felt bad, or maybe I would have gave her a pass if she'd said, I'm biracial or whatever and stuff. But no, she was saying, sometimes, hey, one day I'm Black, one day I'm white, on those special occasions I'm Mexican. I mean, that's what she did. Okay, and stuff. And so, and then taking advantage, and then the talk of how she took advantage of these situations, essentially. And then in the next breath, to somehow try to guilt other black women, either into, well, you really don't support black men if you don't date them. And for black women who have chosen to date white men and stuff, how they have such an easy life and how it's just so much easier. I knew if I dated a white man, it would be so much easier. Listen, I'm here to tell you, it's not no easier dating no white man, specifically when you have to deal with white people's racism regarding your relationship, or black men's utter contempt regarding it and stuff. And, them having always to say something and cutting their eyes at you and stuff because you've chosen to date a white man. Now, I don't know why everybody's dating everybody. Most of the black women I know that date white men are not dating them for the same reason I see many black men dating white women. They're not dating them they're not dating them as some sort of get back, or they just met somebody, they fell in love, or they had their own certain preference and they went with their preference and stuff. But it wasn't some statement against black men. Now, I'm sure there may be black women out there that feel like that, and in my heart of hearts, they might be dating, but really to tell you the truth, they're probably not dating that much, and stuff. Because once people get a sense that you're using them to get back at other people, especially for men, they're not going to be a part of that. Women don't care, and stuff. And, for white women to, somehow for some black men to tell them how much greater they are than black women, they just eat that all up, and stuff. And they really like that and think that's really great and stuff. So her sort of going about her privilege of being racially ambiguous, and how it was such a burden, and how that, yes, she didn't feel like she could date a white man because she was fetishized. I'm going to tell all black women, I know you're probably not looking at this blog, but if you happen to pass it by and listen to it and look at it, I'm going to tell all black women, especially the racially ambiguous ones, that are always talking about how white men are fetishizing black women dating, you know, you, you're you're full of crap. Okay, you're full of crap. Um, you know, I don't know how those black women don't see black men that raise racially ambiguous and light skinned black woman to the level of queen goddess, okay, and would downgrade, darker women, and stuff, dark skinned black women, make them feel like crap and all that stuff. And then when that woman finds somebody else that loves her, and that loves her dark skin and that loves who she is, you would somehow call that a fetish, but you don't call that, that thing where, black dudes is, downgrading and dogging dark skinned black women, or black women, for white, bright, light, almost white women. You don't find that fetishizing women, really? Okay? You're an idiot. That's ridiculous. And so this woman's notion to somehow want to guilt black women into, well, to know the struggle, to know the oppression of black men, you have to date one. Listen, I don't have to date no black man to know about oppression. I'm a black woman. I don't need his to know about mine. I'm an actual black woman. I don't, decide on which day I want to be black and not be black. Most days, this is it. This, you see, what you see is what you get. Okay, and stuff. And so I'm not using some racial ambiguity to try to lift myself, to this status of being so great. And I just thought to myself, and I made a comment in the article, all this about supporting black men, and how tough it is, and somehow her wanting us to somehow cry a tear for her, you know taking advantage of a light skin privilege, you know, um, was a little beyond me. Okay. Personally, I don't have nothing against light skinned people. I don't have nothing against biracial people. I'm a person married to a white man. I'm trying to have a child. The child will be biracial. And in all aspects, probably fairer skinned than I am. Okay. And stuff. But what I do have a problem with is somebody using that to their advantage and then somehow admonishing me because I don't use it or can't use it. And I should be somehow dedicated to black men while they're talking about me bad, sad, and in every way possible, really talking about me like a dog many times, and I should somehow feel bad for them, because of their blackness. And it's just so hard being a black man out here today. Listen, it's hard being a black woman. Personally, I think it's harder being a black woman. Okay, and I'm not gonna let some idiot tell me that while she uses this racial ambiguous thing that she's got going on, while she takes advantage of it, you know, to somehow tell me that I'm wrong for looking out for myself or that I'm wrong for choosing myself. Personally, I didn't think she really had some problem with, picking white men, or, I mean, I didn't think she had some problem, being, racially with racial ambiguity, or even with with being black, and or being with a black man. I personally just thought she had some vetting issue. She just didn't really know how to pick men. If you picking a man and you and the man can't get in the club or whatever because he's dressed a certain way, then maybe that's you. Maybe that don't have nothing to do with all black men or even all white men. Maybe it's you, and really you suck at picking men, and stuff. um but I'm not going to let somebody use privilege against me. And I'm wholly sick and tired of people taking on and putting and taking off their oppression when it suits their needs, and stuff. I'm sure when some black man was, telling her how beautiful she was for being racially ambiguous, I'm sure she wasn't, trying to fight the good fight for black women. Okay. I'm sure at that moment, I'm sure she was all in. Okay. And stuff. So, it was just kind of like, shut up, idiot, and stuff. And how you have privilege, but, taking advantage of the privilege. And then, I know many people may not know they have privilege, or they may not realize it. But when you realize it and then you decide you're going to take advantage of it, yeah, that's another story. Okay. That's a whole different story. Okay. And stuff. And this woman had really said, yeah, I realized I had this privilege and I took full advantage of this privilege, and that just sort of threw me for a total loop. I was just like, huh? What? I couldn't, after that, I couldn't do it. It was such a egregious, an egregious violation, when it came to light skin privilege. I couldn't even, the rest of the article, I could barely even take seriously. Because you can't tell me one thing on one side of your mouth and then tell me another on another side of your mouth. She never said anything about black women suffering and all this stuff. And I'm sure why she didn't. She really didn't identify herself as a black woman. She identified herself as somehow racially ambiguous. So, whatever the hell that is and stuff. But, but, all this, I'm supposed to be crying because, it's just so tough for you dating black men, and it's beyond me. This is what you need to know, black women. Excuse me. This is what you need to know, black women. You have to align yourself with people that are about celebrating you. When I talked the other day about my motto being, bitch, I'm fabulous. And that's because, bitch, I'm fabulous. And celebrating yourself and being around people that do that, you have to do that in all aspects of your life. You have to try to take advantage of that. Sometimes we can't help what jobs we work on or whatever, but stuff that you can decide, make a decision. Stuff that you read, people that you talk to online, your Facebook friends, the Twitter people you follow, you know, people in your life, family members that you hang out with or don't hang out with, friends that you have. It all needs to be some sort of celebration. You need to be celebrating yourself. They need to be celebrating you. You need to be celebrating them. It should all be a celebration. It should not be this thing where people are bringing you down. Now, that does not mean that sometimes you don't have to correct people or sometimes you don't have to tell people the truth in love. That's certainly a part of loving someone and stuff. But it shouldn't always be this sort of thing where people are telling you, and I know you know. I know you know. We have that feeling. We know instinctually. And somehow, as human beings, we want to act like we don't know. But you know when people hate you. You know when people hate you. Even if they don't say that they hate you, you know it. You can feel it. You can see it by the way that they treat you. And if you're letting people into your lives to treat you bad and to hate you, aligning yourself with people that repeatedly tell you how something's always wrong with you, of course, nothing is ever wrong with them. But something is always wrong with you and stuff, and how you can't get it together, then, and with absolutely no solutions, no advice, no compassion, no encouragement, nothing, with nothing, you know, listen, and I don't care who it is. I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's somebody you've been friends with a long time. I don't care if it's a really close family member. I don't even care if it's your parents. Okay, a mom and dad. I don't even care who it is. Stop hanging around people that are sucking you dry. Somehow in that article, what I saw was a woman who really hated being a black woman. Somehow telling me as a black woman that I was wrong for not supporting black men. While nowhere in the article ever saying, you know what, I support being a black woman. Or, even if I'm biracial, I still try to uplift black women. If I have a biracial child, they'll, as much as I know I have to tell my child and know that it's the right thing to tell my child, you are both black and you are both white. You are both things. Both of those things are good. But you cannot take advantage of privilege that you have. You cannot take advantage of an unearned privilege of being a fair-skinned biracial person. That's not okay. It won't ever be okay for me. Never, never. Personally, I find it sort of psychotic and sick, and stuff to do that. So if I'm aligning myself with people, I have to know who they are. They have to know who I am. Listen, I don't love all white people. I don't love all black people. I certainly don't love all black men. And I don't love all black women. Okay? I love people who love me. That's it. That's the end of the story. That's who I align myself with. If you are somehow, as I feel in my heart, trying to take me down, if you are somehow trying to gain advantage over me or something, or have power over me, or use your privilege over me to somehow control me, I'm not planning on aligning myself with you. If you are somehow bullying me, if you are somehow trying to make me codependent on you or being codependent on me, I'm not aligning myself with you. You will be out. You will be an outsider in my life. And I don't care who you are. I don't care if we're just friends, and I don't care if we're related by blood. It don't matter to me. The point is, all the ladies that I know, the ones I know here in the Seattle area that I'm friends with, the ones that I know online, and ladies, you know who you are and stuff. Those are people I talk to and align myself with because we're all celebrating each other. And they're all celebrating themselves. I ain't got time for folks who are trying to make me feel guilty while using while using, while using what they have to take advantage of me at the same time. That's no, 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 not in a million years. You need to see who's taking advantage, and you need to see who's using privilege. And I don't care what kind of privilege they're using. I don't care if they're using monetary privilege. I don't care if they're using the privilege of being middle class. I don't care if they're using the privilege of being educated. I don't care if they're using the privilege of being light skinned. I don't care if they're using thin people privilege. I don't give a damn what kind of privilege you're using. You're not going to use it against me. You're not going to call me on stuff and somehow leave your stuff to the side. You know, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. You're not going to somehow try to guilt me or make me feel bad while taking full advantage of privilege that is really unearned for you in many times. Just absolutely unearned. I have to think about those things myself. And I'm not just calling out somebody else. I have to think about that stuff myself. The privileges that I have, the privileges I have as a married person, the privileges I have as an educated person, and how not to use those against other people. But I'm telling you what, no woman who decides to identify herself as racially ambiguous and then tell me the joys of taking advantage of that unearned privilege is going to guilt me into shit. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. And that article from that magazine, online blog and magazine, online magazine, was just another thing to kind of keep cementing what I see as a pattern is happening in these places that are supposedly supposed to be black women centric. How they're down on black women, how they're guilting black women, how they're bullying black women, how they're making black women feel bad about being black. It's just enough. It's just enough. And the thing is, it's bad enough when black men do it and tell you what's wrong with you all the time. But it's getting ridiculous. Here's a bunch of black women. And here they are too, that jumped on the pile. You need to watch what you're doing, watch what you're reading, watch where you're going, watch these blogs that you're at. Because I know many of us read blogs and we watch blogs and we see this stuff and we see stuff that talks about different stuff. You need to be careful who you read. Because although people are telling you how much they love black women, nothing in their actions seems to be saying that. And for me, it's all about actions. It's never about what you say. What you say means nothing. It's just what you do. So you need to watch that. And watch how people are using their privilege for or against you. And you need to watch that also. So I'm going off. I'm going to come back and I'm going to talk a little bit about the challenge and stuff. But that was what I needed to say for privilege and aligning. Please, take that to heart if you need to. And I will talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.